And hello again, everybody. Welcome back here to CarolinaPreps.com. Chris Hughes, joined now by Coach Joe Glass, head coach at the Hickory Red Tornadoes. Coach, I appreciate you getting on here and talking a little football with us today.
Appreciate you having me.
Well, it's been no secret the amount of success that you've had the past few years at Hickory. An incredible run. Unfortunately, you didn't end it with a back-to-back state championships last year, but you came really close. And let's just call a spade, or it is what it is. I think that three AA bracket that you were a part of last year might have been one of the toughest gauntlets to go through in recent memory.
Yeah, I mean it was rough with Chris and West Charlotte and West Henderson. And I mean, yeah, it was rough. We knew that going in. We looked out and got a really good draw. And up top with J.M. Robinson and everybody else, that was the roughest one to come out of. So we got lucky and got down to the bottom. So, but yeah, it was rough to say the least.
Yeah, no doubt. But again, you still got a lot to be proud of, and hang your hat on just some of the success that you've been able to enjoy there at Hickory. I know the fans, the school, everybody's just so happy to have you there. You graduated a lot of talent, and I mean a lot. We can't go without talking about the successes that Brady Stober had at quarterback. He passed for, I think it's 9,680 yards, and I did the math. That's 5.5 miles of passing that young man had as a career quarterback, 107 touchdowns. And I think the most underrated guy on your team was your big running back, number 34, Isaiah Lackey. I think without him, he just got a lot of those down and dirty yards for you. But you had a lot of young guys, or a lot of veteran guys that's graduating with a lot of holes to fill. But I looked at your last two seasons. You're, I think, 19-0 on the JVs coming up from these past two seasons. So I feel like while you're graduating a lot of talent, you've got a lot of fresh faces coming up that's probably ready to make their impact on Friday nights.
Yes, sir.
So who are some of the young guys that maybe I'm not familiar with, maybe some of the fans aren't familiar with, but who do you think is going to be some of those unsung heroes that we're going to be looking at this year?
I think the biggest thing this season, I think it'll take us a little bit to work some kinks out, especially with the new guys. But I think that's part of developing a program is being able to step right in and seeing where we're at as a program versus where we're at as just a 1 year or 2 year team. So first, got to start with Maddox. Maddox, our quarterback, coming back. Maddox McCree, that is. Granddad's a long time coach and just a kind of a legend down in the Bandy's area. But Maddox is 6'4", 195, 200-pound kid, got a rocket for an arm. He's already committed to NC State for baseball as a pitcher. So we're really excited about him. Is he Brady Stober? No, we don't expect him to be Brady Stober. We'll change some things up to make him successful. Then at running back position, we've got Jaheim Jenkins and Jakyron Weaver. Jaheim is actually the same size as Lackey, another big kind of bruising back. And then we've got that kid behind him, Weaver, who's going to be a sophomore. Or going to be a junior. He's kind of like the lightning part of it. Outside receiver, got a kid named Ronan Nealon, tall, longer kid, 6'3", 6'4", also a pitcher. Came in and actually did some great stuff for us in the playoffs, and especially at practice, we kind of saw some things where we're really not worried about the top end speed there that we're losing. At slot, we got Rocket Bryce, who's been up since he was a sophomore. Smaller, shiftier guy, not as big and as fast as Ellis Chapel, but he's right there with him. And we're changing our system a little bit and going to more of a two-back type system, and that'll be Weaver will play the other slot. That's what he played last year for. So he's just a dynamic athlete. Al Young's his grandfather. I don't know if you know that name, but Al Young was basketball player, football player, Virginia Tech, had a chance to play in the league, things like that. So he's got a lineage of just athleticism right there. And then at the other outside receiver spot, we're splitting the position between two guys, 1'6'3", 1'6'2.5", or somewhere in there between Brett and Dorian, who are also defensive players. So we try not to play anybody both ways, but we will probably have to split that spot for right now. We've had some kids transfer in, but we're gonna reward the kids that are here first, and and like that.
Sure.
Front offensive line, feel really good about this group. We lose some guys that you really like, but this is probably the biggest group I've ever had. Our left tackle is going to be about 6'3", about 250. Left guard is going to be 6'8", 340. Center is going to be about 6'6", right around 280. Right guard is going to be 6'4", around 320, and then we'll have our little short guy on the end. It'll be about 5'11", 205, but he's an animal. Started for us last year at tackle, so feel really good about the offense side of the ball. Like I said, it's just moving some kids around and figuring out what works for them and all that stuff.
So, kind of change the subject a little bit. The NCHSA finalized the upcoming realignment finally, and you guys are going to be in the 5A class, one of the larger schools in the 5A class, but nonetheless, it's still going to be a pretty deep 5A class. I can already envision a preseason ranking coming out with you guys and Hickory, or you guys in Monroe and Crest and Robinson and Havelock. I mean, it's still going to be a pretty loaded classification for football. But I was also looking at your conference, and it looks like you guys got a really solid conference put together, not only from a talent standpoint and some really good football games there in that Catawba Valley area, but also just some really good rivalries that I think would be really good at the gate as well. And I'm just going to look at it right here: Bandy's, Bunker Hill, Maiden, Newton Conover, which is one of your longtime rivals. That's been a non-conference game forever. North Lincoln, of course. That's going to make for some good football.
Absolutely. We're excited about our conference and, the close travel and the relationships with all the coaches and being close and really excited about our kids. All our kids have played rec ball against each other, with each other for years. So it'll be fun for those kids to actually get to play against each other at the high school level versus ending in middle school or whatever.
Well, Coach, that's about all I've got for you. Is just a little short segment just to kind of get you on here, talk a little bit about your program, kind of get some fans excited about football. That's what we love to do here at Carolina Preps. But I just appreciate your time and your opportunity for you to talk about your kids and your program a little bit.
I appreciate you having me again. Thank you.
All right, guys. That's Coach Joe Glass, Hickory High School, and a big season coming up for them. But thanks for joining us here at Carolina Preps, and we'll catch you next time.